12D for nearly 6 months now, since 7th of August started. It's quite a good role, it's a varied role. So it's a mix of customer service, administration, there's technical elements in there as well. So my background is IT.
The key finding in terms of employment is that around 45% of this group are employed versus a national employment rate of around 95%. Now, some people may be surprised that even 45% have employment, but when we drilled underneath that number, we found that actually the majority of those who had work had casual work or part-time work. And also we found that many who did have work were working well below the sort of level that their qualifications would indicate they were capable of. Employers ought to employ somebody who has Asperger's disorder or high functioning autism because they are as competent as any other person an employer might be considering in terms of the skills to do the job. But in addition, they bring particular strengths such as their ability to provide a really high quality and consistent output. They're very, very productive, very reliable. They like to follow structures and they like to get things right.
One minute you can be doing something technical, another bit you can be doing processing orders. And then also I enjoy speaking to customers over the phone. There isn't a face-to-face interaction, but still speak to customers over the phone, email, that kind of thing. And I think it's allowed me to bring in my skills and experience into the role, but also it's a form of consolidating those skills and experience as well. And also bringing those skills into the role and helping 12D achieve their aims, this business objectives.
Key strategies that made this work were getting an Asperger's employment specialist, such as capable, involved right at the beginning, even before we put the job out. They helped us with the interview process, what questions we should be asking, and also interview techniques. There are many other things we did as well, wasn't there?
We provided pre-employment training, so to prepare the candidate for the job, so things like communication skills, social skills, things that aren't necessarily taught anywhere else. We also provided, with the consent of Cameron, training for the team, so awareness training to provide them with the understanding of what to expect of working alongside somebody with Asperger's.
That was really helpful that everyone then had an idea of what he was going through and could make those adjustments as time has gone on. I think that was much better than everyone being kept in the dark and having no idea what's going on.
So we made sure all the procedures and everything that he was undertaking was written down. He also learns quite well using visual aids, so we use quite a lot of visual materials such as flowcharts, timetables, things like that to help him understand his role.
When we're talking about the sort of supports you might have at work, the very first thing to start thinking about, and we talk about this when we do training for employment groups, is not necessarily just to think from the deficit to start with, is actually think from a strengths point of view. Increasingly people on the spectrum are being recognised of having fantastic strengths when it comes to employment, whether that's with their ability to concentrate over long periods of time, to see particularly detailed pieces of work. And it's been quite exciting to hear companies now specialising in employing people on the spectrum because they recognise those skills. So I think if any employer can start from that strengths point of view and look at what people can bring, then things will be more successful from the beginning. Within that, I think obviously there's 3 types of preparation that you can do, one of which is preparing the person for their employment, letting them know about the workplace, letting them know about the way the workplace runs, the rules, which are obvious, but perhaps the hidden rules around the way the workplace runs. There's also preparing the workplace environment, so that whether that's developing an office space that reduces distraction, is friendly from a sensory point of view, whether it helps them to structure their work or manage their time in a particular way. I think that's also very helpful. And the third thing, I guess, is about preparing the others in that environment for this person. So again, perhaps some peer education around the strengths of the person, but also some of the differences that they will bring, how to manage those situations, perhaps just when you're having lunch and the conversation might not be flowing, how to support that or how not to worry so much about that, how to leave somebody just to have some quiet time so that they are able to return successfully to work. So I think it's good to think about a broad range of strategies, but definitely to take that strengths perspective from the beginning.
The message that I'd send other employers who are looking at hiring someone with Asperger's would be not to be afraid. We were afraid at the beginning potentially. There were risks there that we perceived. However, if you get the right support and a nice open environment to work with, some of these employees can be the best employees that you'll ever have. They can be loyal, hardworking, and there's just so many extra benefits that we never foresaw at the beginning of the whole project. So yeah, just get in there, get professional help, and you'll be fine.